All right. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to react to another song. This is probably my all-time favorite song. And I'll explain that as we get into this. But this is Vinnie Paz. Okay. So he's basically from a rap group uh like that just kind of like it was Jedi mind tricks back in the day, like in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, Jedi mind tricks. And now he's more rolling with just his name, which is Vinnie Paz, because I think there's some issues with the record label and stuff like that, kind of having a little bit of ownership over all that. So um but I've got the symbol tatted on the arm here. So I've always liked Vinnie Paz, but once this song dropped, um, it, it changed everything about my life, about how I understood things. It put what I was going through since I was a child into perspective. It gave it a name, because I never really knew what it was that I had that was affecting me so greatly, and why I felt the way I felt, and why my brain worked the way it worked. And it took all the way up until I was about, what, 25 when this song came out. But I was listening to it, but it was the video that really got me, because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, there's a reason why I really like this song. So I'll show you guys when we get to it in a minute. Here we go. Let's get started on it. As I pause, I'll explain more. Is happiness just a word? And that hook right there, that chorus right there, it's just so magical. The way it just speaks. Like if you go through what we're about to talk about in this video, if you've gone through that, then you'll feel what those words mean. Hey, and she can sing, man. I like just, it's not like over the top singing and stuff like that, but it's just it's the right melody, it's the right tone, it's the right notes just coming out that just kind of speak to that issue that I have, and apparently Vinnie Paz had it as well. Has it?
My family don't understand what I go through. Underdiagnosed for 20 years, they never broke through.
There it goes right there. My family don't understand what I go through. Underdiagnosed for 20 years. 20 years. I went even longer. Had it my whole life.
My family don't understand what I go through. Underdiagnosed for 20 years, they never broke through. You ever been in such a fog you don't know you? Never.
You ever been in such a fog you don't know you? Right? Is this starting to make sense to some people? Does anybody understand yet? Or does it need to play a little bit further?
Diagnosed for 20 years, they never broke through. You ever been in such a fog you don't know you? Never being able to do the shit you supposed to? I wouldn't wish it on anyone that I'm close to. Wouldn't wish it on anybody that I'm opposed to.
Yeah, this living with that it's hell. It's a living hell, honestly. And it was so strange living my whole life with it, not knowing what it was, and just kind of feeling like I had to keep it like a secret, keep it to myself, because I was afraid to tell other people because they would think I was crazy or something.
There's not an accurate diagnosis to show you. Basic neurobiology isn't close to. I'm watching life as a spectator.
Right there. I'm watching life as a spectator. All right. So now we'll get into it, because right here, we're getting into the part of the video that I fucking cried. I remember it. You know how people remember where they were on 9/11 and shit like that? Like something just really profound, and you just remember vividly where you were at that moment. With this part of the video where it shows the books, I just remember that. And I remember I cried on my way to work because I read those books and I was like, those words, I've never really put those words in my head. And then I looked into those words while I was driving. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't Google and drive, please. But I did it, and I broke down. I broke down. I almost didn't want to go to work, but I remember I was right there turning onto the freeway when I started that search. Right outside of my house was like right next to the freeway, so I got on, go to Caesar's Palace and all that stuff, and I was just bawling like a baby.
Can't help myself even though I possess data. It's not a part of my spirit to want to test nature. You think you know what I'm feeling, cousin, then let's wager. I have trouble retaining new information. Familiar scenes start to look foreign to realization.
I have trouble retaining new information. Familiar scenes start to look foreign to realization. So, what we're talking about is derealization and depersonalization disorder. That's what this song is about. And so it's like what he was saying.
Feeling cousin and less wager. I have trouble retaining new information.
I have trouble retaining new information. So this could be different for other people, but it is tough for me to retain new information because I have such a hard time grasping that anything is even real. Like, I've always felt like I've been watching a movie my whole life. Like, I'm not really in control. I'm just sitting back in a chair back here in the back of my mind, just watching life happen in front of me. Like, sometimes I don't even feel like I'm in control of my own actions and the things that I do. Like, I'm just like, what the heck's going on? Why is it going this way? Why is it going that way? How come I have no control over it? But then it also gives you issues with retaining information because you doubt what you've read or what you saw or what you've heard, because you don't know if that reality was even real, 2 hours ago or yesterday. You wonder, did that really happen? Like, you tell yourself, like, was yesterday real? Or did I just wake up today in this reality? Maybe I died yet. Like, it's just such a crazy thought process. Like, there's so many things that run through your head, and it just occupies so much of the real estate in your brain that you cannot, like, function properly. You're all over the place. You're just thinking, like, this isn't real. That's not real. I'm not real. None of this is real.
Familiar scenes start to look foreign to realization. Everybody tired of being patient. Mama wonder why her baby crying in the basement.
See, and I wasn't like how he's saying, mama wonder why her baby crying in the basement. Like, I get that. Like, I wasn't that kid that was like just like always just crying, like hiding and crying or anything like that, but I would express it through like very high anxiety in like situations. That's why I was like really scared that like to go to even go to school, because I felt like something about reality was going to change and my parents were never going to come back. Or like if I went to the store and somebody walked away from me, I would freak the fuck out. You could ask if I ever have my mom on here, you could ask her how many times I've cried at Walmart because she went like 2 aisles over and I felt like my parents ceased to exist and like my existence was like a completely different existence and I had no parents anymore. Like it was just such a crazy ass. And to this day, like I still kind of struggle with it a little bit. Like I've got a better grasp on things, but it slips away sometimes still. Like I still have issues with retaining information. Like I'll try to memorize like a sequence of numbers or something like that, and then I'll be like, wait a minute, was that really the sequence of numbers that I saw, or did I see something else? And so it starts to mess with my head, and it's gives you like anxiety and shit.
Constant rumination just exacerbates it to the point where I can't even barely narrate it. I've had doctors tell me that my mind is fascinating, but they can tell me why the sickness has been activated.
I've had doctors tell me that my mind is fascinating, but they can't tell me why the sickness has been activated. So like depersonalization, derealization, it's documented, but they can't tell you why or how this happens, right? There's no markers for it. They just know that people experience this through talking to doctors and things like that. They know that it exists to some degree, but they don't know why or how. And it's still relatively like unknown.
It's fascinating, but they can tell me why the sickness has been activated.
And just the scenery alone, it just gives you that big, empty, fieldy feeling like nobody else is there. It just plays into what the song's really about. Like,
don't work, but I don't want to be dead. Dead don't work. Sleep the cousin of death. The bed don't work.
I never got into the medications and stuff like that. I've always hated medications. I don't even like to take cold medication, like Dayquil, NyQuil type of stuff. Like I just don't like to do that. So that part's rough for me. Meds don't work.
To be dead, dead don't work. Sleep the cousin don't work. The meds don't work, but I don't want to be dead. Dead don't work.
I don't want to be dead. Dead don't work.
Sleep the cousin of death. The bed don't work.
Sleep the cousin of death. The bed don't work. And then he goes right back. Watch.
Maybe I'd rather be dead. Dead don't hurt.
Maybe I'd rather be dead. Dead don't hurt. Sometimes this stuff gets so frustratingly weird that you almost just wish it would stop. Like this, it's like a spinning ride. You just want it to stop. And so like you go through all those thought processes and you just want it to end.
Realization of an inherent emptiness. Maybe that's another sin for the pessimist.
Realization of an inherent emptiness. You're realizing that there's a void.
Possibly I am a jinn, we're the exorcist. I've fallen cause I've been on the precipice. Maybe it's my mama's possible regret. Maybe it's a neurological neglect. Maybe it's the reason why I water wet.
Maybe it's my mama's possible regret. Maybe it's the neurological neglect. Maybe it's the reason why water's wet.
Maybe it's a neurological neglect. Maybe it's the reason why water wet. The angular gyrus and where the frontal lobe connect.
The angular gyrus of where the frontal lobe connect. So he's going into like, what's causing all this, right? Is it my brain? Is it drugs? What was it? Like neurological neglect? Like did I have too much trauma? What was it?
But maybe I'm being too complicated for you. Maybe I should just be calm and explain it to you. The psychiatrist thinking they can fool you. Paxil, Zoloft, it's just wasteful to you. I tried meditation, try to sit in silence, but how the fuck that...
See what I'm saying? Like about the drug shit? Like that's just wasteful. Like it's just, that's zombie meds, you know? Like it's already bad enough. So sometimes these medications can really jack you up.
Zoloft, it's just wasteful to you. I tried meditation, try to sit in silence, but how the fuck that help a neurochemical imbalance?
Right? So if there's like, if it's an actual neurochemical imbalance, what's meditation gonna do? Like,
why would you tell a person that they were childish without an understanding of the pain that they surrounded?
right there. Look at that. Feeling unreal. Overcoming depersonalization
I always feel foggy somatic detachment.
disorder. It just takes me right back to that moment right there.
It's like my body isn't connected to actions. It destroys everything that's affected the fragments. I don't have nothing but senses and sadness. Yeah.
I don't have nothing but senses and sadness. Darkness comes beneath the dying stars. You think about that for a second. There's so much about that. It's so hard to explain. But like you think about the stars, they're dying above you, right? But the darkness down here. Shit. Ooh, you crave the creature in me. Whew. Man. Damn. There's a lot to it. Look, go listen to that song. Dissect it yourself. Like that's something you got to do, especially if you've had feelings like that, if you've had a mentality like that, if you don't know what it was, if you just stumbling upon this video and that's something you felt throughout your life at some point, because it can happen at any stage of life. It could happen for any period of time. It could come, it could go, it could be permanent. Like, if you haven't experienced it yet, you might in the future. So, you know, sometimes traumatic events can trigger it and things like that. So just just know that you ain't alone in that mess. A lot of people have it. A lot of people get it. A lot of people deal with it. Some people don't know how to deal with it. Like myself, I went, like I said, 25, 26 years before. And then when I seen this music video, that's when I realized what I had. And it was just like this, like, what the, I just couldn't like, it was such a weird experience to be able to name the demons that have been chasing me my whole life. So, hey, if you like this video and you want to see more of that, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you've dealt with this issue at all. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Again, stay healthy. Appreciate y'all. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Yeah.